It's that time of year again, the time where seemingly everyone splits into one of two camps. At the start of a new year, you're either team, I gotta figure out what my New Year's resolution is, or team, New Year's resolutions are pointless. No one ever keeps them, and you can make a change at any time of the year. And I don't know, I think there are points to be made on both sides. Yes, you can make a change at any time, but a lot of people feel an extra surge of motivation when a new year starts, and it's okay to use that motivation to propel yourself towards some of your goals. However, it is definitely true that a lot of people don't keep their New Year's resolution. I think at this point, people talking about not keeping their New Year's resolution is more common than the actual act of making the New Year's resolutions. And I had a realization earlier this year that I've kept a bunch of my New Year's resolutions, which is apparently strange. And you always see these lists of tips for how to keep your New Year's resolution, make an outline, and make a pros and cons list, choose something measurable, and those lists are great. I'm sure they're very helpful for some people, but I'll be honest, a lot of those tips don't work for me. So today I want to talk about what I've done to really help me stick to my New Year's resolutions in the past. Actually, totally candid here, I'm going to check my script and because basically you're going to see me talk about some of the New Year's resolutions that I've had before, and I just want to see, I still do that one. I still do that one. I still do that one. Yeah, so literally the majority of the New Year's resolutions that I'm going to talk about today, not only did I keep them for a year, but I still incorporate these into my life today. And I think the oldest one is 10 years old, and I still have kept this New Year's resolution to the present day. So I guess I'm just saying this stuff has clearly worked for me, and hopefully some of these tips will work for you guys too. So in 2011, my New Year's resolution was to stop eating meat. And don't worry, this isn't going to be some vegetarian propaganda video. If you want the vegetarian propaganda video, it'll be linked in the eye. But I do think this is a good example of a really useful tip. Pick something that you care about. In 2011, I was just learning about the vegetarian movement, and some of the ideals really appealed to me. Emphasis on some of, we do not endorse PETA or that vegan teacher in this house. And that passion made it really easy for me to stick with that resolution throughout 2011 and for the rest of my life, at least so far. So I guess what I learned here was don't make a resolution based on other people's expectations. If other people think you should spend less time on your phone or eat healthier or quit smoking, they're not necessarily wrong, but until you have that internal motivation, it's going to be pretty hard to commit. Found it. Okay, so this is probably my weirdest New Year's resolution. In 2013, I made it my goal to learn something new every day and prove that phrase. Everyone always says, oh, you learn something new every day, right? I wanted to see if that phrase was true or not. That was kind of the gimmick, I guess. So I got this journal and I wrote down something new that I learned every day in 2013. I was weird. Honestly, I'm so happy I did this because 2013 was the year that I was transitioning from high school to college, and it's just really nice to, I don't really journal, but this, through these little facts, a lot of the times they're related to the things that were going on in my life at the time, so it kind of has all these reminders of what was going on when I was in my last year of high school and my first year of college, and it's just nice to kind of look back on that time. But the thing that really helped me stay motivated was that I posted every single fact on Facebook. So at the end of the week, I would take a picture of kind of the spread for that week, and I would share everything I learned with my friends. Sometimes the post didn't get that much attention, but other times my friends would recognize the facts that they taught me or the facts that they were there when I learned, and they'd get excited and leave a comment, and that kept me motivated to keep posting the next week. I I'd say this is a pretty common tip, having someone hold you accountable, whether it's a single friend, maybe with a similar goal to you, or the entirety of social media. Having those words of encouragement can really make a difference. And again, maybe this just depends on your personality, but I think, you want someone who holds you accountable in a positive reinforcement kind of way, because this is something that you want to last a year. So if you pick someone who's going to hold you accountable by really making you feel bad every time you make a slight mistake on your New Year's resolution, you're gonna get sick of it after a while. After a couple months, you're probably just gonna wanna give up entirely. So, if you're picking a person or a group of people to hold you accountable, make sure they're, gonna be positive about it and really encourage you when you do work towards your goal, and not so much beat you up when you make slight mistakes. All right, so in 2011, I stopped eating meat, but I'll be the first to tell you that just because someone's a vegetarian, it doesn't automatically mean they eat healthy. In college, my diet was basically Taco Bell, curly fries, ramen, and mac and cheese. So at some point, I realized that wasn't actually the best idea and decided that I needed to start eating more veggies. And I'm including this resolution because a tip that I hear a lot is you need to pick measurable goals. You can't say, I want to work out more, or practice piano more, or eat more vegetables. And I disagree with that. While yes, measuring your goals can be helpful for lots of people, I actually think it can be demotivating for others. I'm not a big agenda planner person. I don't want to have to measure exactly what I eat every single day and keep track of that. And in my opinion, measuring things really meticulously can put a lot of pressure on it and cause unnecessary guilt if and when you miss a day or two. So the way I made this work was, if I was cooking at home, I would basically ask myself, are there any veggies that I could add to this that would taste good? And it wasn't even expensive. I would just add frozen veggies as a side, or use broccoli in tuna helper instead of tuna. Even this, the dumplings are actually pretty legit. We got them from the Asian market. But the fried rice is literally just crappy rice-a-roni 20-minute fried rice. So it's not fancy at all. But to make it a little bit healthier, I just added some frozen veggies when I was cooking it. And now, I'm getting a serving of vegetables. It's not a lot, but it's certainly more than I would have had if I hadn't added any vegetables to this. And it's definitely more than I was eating before 2017, when I started trying to incorporate more vegetables. I couldn't put a number on how many vegetables I ate, in 2016 compared to 2017, but I know I ate way more, and it has impacted the way I eat in the long run. So I guess the lesson I learned here was, hold yourself accountable, but there are other types of goals and other ways to measure goals, and that's okay. Okay, and in 2021, my New Year's resolution was kind of weird, but listen, 2020 was a weird year, and I think a lot of people had small or strange New Year's resolutions, okay? But mine was to get into the habit of taking all the dirty dishes from the sink and putting them in the dishwasher before bed, so that I just had one less thing to worry about in the morning. I feel like this was one of the first goals where I was building a habit and trying to break an old habit. So I learned a lot with this one. The first thing I learned was that New Year's resolutions are about the spirit of the resolution. In other words, it's okay if you mess up or miss a few days. The first time I forgot to load the dishwasher, I was laying in bed and I realized, oh crap, I didn't load the dishwasher. I guess I failed my New Year's resolution, so I just have to stop now? And then the rest of me was no, what the heck? It doesn't have to be all or nothing, right? As long as you're building a habit and working towards an overall goal, that's all that matters. Also, this New Year's resolution taught me to take the time to appreciate the benefits of your resolution. When I wake up in the morning and I see a perfectly clean sink, I just think to myself man, it's gonna be so nice to not have that nagging thought in the back of your head all day reminding you to clean the dishes. I know this is a small example, but I feel like it can apply to pretty much any New Year's resolution because that's the point of New Year's resolutions, right? To improve your life somehow. So this is probably the most important tip. As you progress towards your goal, take time to reflect and think about the accomplishments you've made so far and how it'll continue to benefit you as you move forward. I missed you, hot chocolate. I forgot to take it for the other shots. In the end, everyone's brain works a little differently and everyone finds motivation in different ways. You can obviously take these tips or leave them. All that really matters is that you're working towards goals that you want to work towards. Even if that goal is to have no goals and let 2022 be a super chill year, that's cool too. But hopefully some of these ideas help you stick to your resolutions this year. I personally don't even know what my resolution is going to be for 2022, but what about you guys? If you have a resolution picked out, let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I put videos out every other Friday about music, media, linguistics, and whatever else is on my mind that week. Thanks so much for watching. See ya.